All right, all right. Welcome back to Currency 365 and also Eyes Open Media. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm probably gonna post this video on both channels, um, just because I think it's important as we get close to the revaluation of the Iraqi dinar. And I know a lot of people are like, currency, it's never going to revalue. I don't know what you're talking about, but as you can see from our history, that a lot of things that people have told me would never happen has happened, right? We will never be under lockdowns. We will never be forced to take something that we don't want to take. They'll never take our guns away from us, and they will never take our liberties and our stuff away from us. They will never do this. They will never do that. And yet you're watching them do it right in front of your face. And a lot of people, not going to say you guys, but a lot of people are giving in. They're bowing down to the beast, right? So when you guys say something will never happen, I know it's gonna happen. When the majority of the world says something is not gonna happen, I know it's gonna happen. Right? I go the opposite of what the majority do. I usually sometimes the majority is right, but 10% of the time, right? Majority is usually wrong, right? Um, so when the majority said Shiba Inu was gonna go up, I came out and told you guys last year it don't work that way. All these people making these videos, it's not going to work that way. This doesn't happen like that, man. People just can't be excited and come in and say, oh, she was going to the moon. I told you guys, she was going to go down. All these people making these videos about Shiba and some of them are faking their dreams about Shiba Inu. It's going to make Shiba price go down. People are going to short it more because of all these people coming out saying these things. And that's exactly what happened. Shiba went down. Then when Shiba was down, I said, guys, everybody's down on Shiba. Guess what's going to happen? Shiba's going to start to rise in a few weeks. And then it started to rise when everybody was down on it, right? Every time we have the majority say something, it's like, no, just do the opposite, right? Sometimes the majority is right, but most of the times they're wrong. Most of the times they're wrong, right? As you can see, when we're all calling for a bull cycle, we get a bear cycle, right? We continue with a bear cycle. So when everybody's calling for something, it's usually wrong. It's usually wrong because the elites are watch the videos. The elites are and the Kabbalists and the bankers and stuff. If everybody's saying the same thing, they're going to make the mechanism where it goes to the opposite because they control these markets, right? They control it. With derivatives, they control it which are fake. Basically, derivatives are fake shares and fake tokens, right? They control it with bots. They control it with AI technology. They control it with shorting, naked shorting. Okay, they control it with futures trading. You see what happened to Bitcoin after they put futures on it thing. It ain't been the same, has it? It's been a fight with Bitcoin to get this thing to move, right? It takes lots of money to move Bitcoin now. It didn't back when we started cryptos on Currency 365 and here on ISO Media. It didn't take much money to move Bitcoin, but now that Bitcoin doesn't have a lot of tokens. So it shouldn't take much money to move Bitcoin because there's not a lot of tokens in circulation. Most of the tokens are held in institutionals now, in private wallets. So the Bitcoin that's out in circulation, I don't even know how much there is. Maybe if you're lucky, there may be 6 million tokens in circulation. Like there's not a lot of Bitcoin in circulation. So you know what I mean. So there's only 20. There's only ever going to be 21 million bitcoins. So a lot of it's been lost too. A lot of bitcoins are lost and stolen and seed phrase forgotten about, especially in the early days, right? So you know, but it is what it is, right? So we the majority is usually wrong, right? Majority, and you know that by your families, right? Your families and friends, as you watch and you looking at this family here, your families and friends are usually wrong as well, right? Do this, do that, do that. Now, if they tell you to do it for a long term play, that's a different story, right? When they say, hey, do this and just hold on to it for long term. If they told you to, If they say, hey, put $10 in Bitcoin or put $100 in Bitcoin, and this is 2009 when Bitcoin came out in 2009, and one of my friends told me this to do this as well. He said, hey, grab some Bitcoin. It just came out at 1 cent and just hold it, right? And I didn't. I was like, nah, I'm good, bro. I'm playing the stock market. That was the biggest mistake. Well, I'm not gonna say the biggest mistake of my life because if I had done that, I wouldn't be Currency 365. I would be some douchebag billionaire liberal, and I would be in, and I'd be on my way to. I'll be on my way to hell. You know what I mean? So it wasn't meant for me to do that, right? Because my life, I mean, I would be a billionaire. I probably would have been one of the people that got killed, one of the billionaires that got killed, God forbid. You know what I mean? Because look how many billionaires have been killed, how many Bitcoin billionaires have been killed over these last 2, 3 years? A ton of them, right? Hey, he jumped out of a building. No, he didn't. Somebody clearly pushed him out of a building, right? So, oh, the cameras were turned off, right? So God forbid, right? So so all, and the same thing goes for the Iraqi dinar and all these other currencies. Like if Maliki doesn't do what he did back in 2010, we're not here. We're not holding the Iraqi dinar today, right? Because they would have already revalued. But Maliki stepped in and Maliki promised something, which was the herbal agreement, and then he reneged on it, and then he took over the country, and then and then we know what happened, right? The country went to HELL again, right? So these things happen for a reason, so that God's people would be in position when the time was right, right? And so we're coming into that time now where the time is right, where the time is about to be really right. And the enemy, a lot of the people, the enemy that think that they have a hold on God's people are about to find out. No, you don't. It was all a setup, right? So it was all a setup so that God can expose who you are. That's all it was, right? And the same thing goes for your family as well, right? Your family, your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers, your roommates, your everybody, right? Everybody that truly hates you, God is going to expose them, right? To you in your dreams, or just expose them because they're going to make a mistake, right? They're gonna make a mistake and they go, oops, whatever the case is, right? And they're gonna send a text to somebody saying, I can't stand this person, and they're actually gonna send it to you, right? And they're gonna be like, that wasn't for you. It's like, yes, it was, because you know. So stuff like that's gonna happen, right? So, and you see that it's already happening now, right? It's already happening now. So God is already showing you, and you don't have to say anything, because God shows me a lot of things. I don't say anything. You know what I mean? God shows me a lot. I see a lot of. I'm a dreamer. I'm a dreaming prophet. That's what I am, right? So I see a lot of, and sometimes I daydream and I'll dream and daydream. I have visions and stuff. I don't have to actually be asleep to see stuff either, right? I can just be talking to you guys right now and I can see stuff, right? So I'll be able to see stuff. The Holy Spirit will send me some stuff and I can see stuff right now, right? So, and I do that in my videos, right? When I'm on Patreon, I'll just be talking, rambling, and then boom, the Holy Spirit will put an idea on me, and then I'll start talking about something else, and it will tie into everything, but it was something that nobody's ever heard before. And that's just the gifts, right? And so that's what's happening right now, right? A lot of you guys are God is showing you how your family is about to become, or as your family is right now towards you, and God is doing that because He wants to. So when the wealth transfer kicks in here, when things go parabolic, and when we get our little bull run here, or when the revaluations happen, He wants you to make sure that you cut these people off, or he wants you to make sure that you help these people, right? So he's going to show you the good ones and the good people, and he's going to show you the bad ones, right? That are refusing to change, and he's going to also show you the people that have been attacking you and trying to do things to you in the spiritual realm, because they're not they won't do it to you in the physical realm, but they're doing it to you in the spiritual realm. So he's going to show you who these people are as well, right? So if you're having these types of dreams, is because you're about to be wealthy, and so he's showing you these things so that you don't fall into no trap and you're not giving money to people that you're not supposed to be giving money to, right? And helping people that actually are your enemies. So God's going to be showing you your enemies. God's going to be showing you he's going to be cleansing the place, right? He's going to be cleansing things clean, and And then that's what. So family is important, but once again, family can destroy you as well. So we have to keep that in mind, right? Family is important, but family can destroy you as well. Friends are important, but friends can destroy you as well. This is why prophets are lonely people, because we see these things, and it's like we don't want to be around nobody, you know. If you look at the prophets in the Bible, most of them were lonely people as well, because when you're a prophet and you can see everybody's faults, you can see everybody's sins, you can see everybody's, you can see who's for you or not, and you don't even want to be bothered by people anymore, right? You want to be alone, you know what I mean? And so being a prophet is a lonely life, because you see everybody, you see God shows you all everybody's agendas and things, and it's like you don't want to be bothered. He's like, I'll just be lonely. God, we don't want to be lonely people. Of course, we love to communicate with people and have a good time and fellowship as well. But we do have to be very careful as prophetic people, prophetic dreamers, or prophetic people, or just people anointed apostles, prophets, apostles, seers. You know what I mean? Like the people with the big gifts. Pastors are cool and stuff, and they have their place, but the people with the big gifts, of course and evangelists are blessed people and favored people too, right? But the people with the actual gifts that the enemy comes after heavily, right? The seers, the prophets, and the apostles, right? Those people, it's really hard to have genuine friends, because if we can see, God, we can see their agendas and stuff, right? And so we can see family members. It's hard to speak to family members, because we can see their agendas as well. We can see everything. So it's like, it's really hard, right? It's really hard to call people. It's like, and so I don't like to be on the phone with people either, right? And so it's really hard. You don't want to be on the phone with people. You don't want to, because you can pick up their spirits and their demonic spirits and their, you know what I mean? Like, and then those spirits are coming and try to attack you. And it's just, it's awful. It's awful, man. It's like, man, so it's like, man, every time when you get on the phone, you have to pray and cover yourself. Like, you have to cover yourself for that day, every day. Everybody should be doing that, but especially the prophets, right? And the seers and the apostles. We have to do that all the time, right? And to talk to people, we have to pray before we talk, because these things, man, these spirits they want to take out the prophets and the apostles and the seers, right? So and so you'll have family members the same way, like that their secret agendas to take you out, right? For the kingdom of darkness, right? So you got to be careful. You got to be careful who you power, who you're giving money to, after the wealth transfer, after the revaluation of currencies and stuff like that. Be careful. God's going to show you who not to give money to. God's going to show you the warning signs as well. He's going to tell you, if you're about to do something, ask God. God, should I do this? Give me warning signs immediately. Send a prophet, send somebody to say no, or expose them immediately and in front of me, so that I can go, okay, there it is right there. I'm not giving them any money, right? So that's what we want God to do, right? In the season. So God's going to be showing us things in the season to know who's good, who's bad, and so that we can make sure that when the wealth transfer begins, for people that haven't received some of their wealth transfers yet, right? So the big ones are still coming, right? Then we are able to give it to the right people, right? We're going to be able to bless the right people. And hopefully, everybody comes on board, because the world's going to be in a bad situation when these things are happening, right? So, we might be back under lockdowns. And that's why people are going to say, why now, right? So we could be back under lockdowns. And so you can't even go to a bank to exchange, right? And it's like, why now, right? Why would you do that now when we're back in the lockdowns, right? Or they're gonna try to do all that stuff again, right? And we got to pray against all that, right? So they're gonna try to do all these things again. We need to pray against it. So we know ahead of time that these things are coming. We know ahead of time that a new virus is coming, right? We know ahead of time that they're going to try to put the lockdowns back again. We know ahead of time that they're going to try to put everybody back on masks and stuff like that. We know ahead of time. So we can pray against these things now, right? Now we knew back then as well in 2019 when we were saying that there's a something global is about to happen and we're about and the markets are going to crash, and everybody was just laughing and saying, these guys are crazy. These prophetic people have lost their minds. And then February hits, and then before January hits, and China is in trouble, and then February, the whole world's in trouble, and people are stuck in their house saying, "Oh, these prophets were right. I didn't prepare. Everything's crashing. What should I do?" Right? So it was awful, right? Because people weren't prepared, right? So we know that they're going to try to do it again. We know that, right? But we can pray against it, right? So we have time to pray against these things and ask God to intervene, right? So that when they try to do it, it's not successful, and then they have to lift it back up again, right? So yeah, just like they're going to try to continue rate hikes next year, but God says, God is telling people that they're not going to be successful. Why? Because people are praying against it, right? So we got to keep praying against these things, right? We got to keep praying against it. Like with all these people that's trying to come against Luna Classic and USTC, right? And come against the community and stuff and trying to destroy it. God has already said it that they're not going to be successful, right? But we got to still pray against it because nothing's guaranteed, right? Unless God says it's guaranteed, right? So we got to pray against it, right? We got to pray against these things, right? We got to pray against these things. Pray against the people that are holding Shiba down. Pray against all the people that are holding all the cryptos down. Pray against all the things that are holding the reset currencies from revaluing, right? We got to pray against all these things. Pray against the corrupt governments of the world, right? And bring justice to the people and let the people rise. Remember, God said it was a time that we're about to enter the time of the lower class rising, and so I believe that's about that. We're about to see that in September, and so we're preparing for that. The lower class people are about to rise into wealth. And how many of them are going to actually keep their wealth? That's a different story, right? And God can give us wealth because you're begging for it for years, and He's a loving God, so He's here, and then he's gonna do it gruntly because He knows that it's gonna really destroy people, right? And how many people are gonna actually keep their wealth is another story, right? So He's gonna give us the wealth. He's gonna give you your wealth. Are you going to be able to keep it, and is it going to destroy your life? And that's the part that's why He's been holding His hand, because He's God. He could do it right now, but he knows that how many people are actually going to be destroyed from this thing? How many people are going to regret the revaluation of currencies? How many people are going to regret having wealth? They're going to be like, man, I wish I could go back to my normal life, right? How many people are going to say that? A lot of people are going to say that. You don't think you're going to say that until you get into that situation. You've seen other people say it. Other people say, I wish I was never wealthy. You've heard many people over your lifetime say stuff like that. You've seen many people receive wealth and be destroyed and go completely bankrupt and owe millions of dollars. And then they live in a shelter now or something, right? So you've seen people be destroyed with wealth. Some people became alcoholics. Some people became people who ran after prostitutes, people shooting up heroin and the most expensive drugs and losing it all. Gambling their lives away. I heard somebody on Twitch, some Twitch streamer or something, has lost over $70 million in gambling. And some of y'all don't think gambling is a sin. I mean, can you believe that? Can you believe $70 million gambling? That what could $70 million do for his family and for his future and for his children and grandchildren and for his neighborhood and for his community? But it all went away in a twinkle of an eye for gambling on sports. Is that of God or is that of the devil, man? And some of y'all like, gambling is not of God. If not now, the gambling is okay. I throw my money away, and if I lose it all. Is that the same thing as Wall Street and stocks? No, because stocks, if you put your money in a stock market, which is an actual real company that you can invest in, and you don't like it, you can actually get your money back. you know, and gambling, if you put your money in and you lose, you lose it all. You don't get 50% of it back or 80% of it back if you made a mistake. you know, and you can't file taxes on it and claim a loss and then get some of that money back on tax returns. But in stocks you can, right? You can also in cryptos you can file for losses in cryptos and get money back as well, right? So yes, some of the cryptocurrencies are gambles because people don't know who they are, who the company is, and they just like meme tokens that nobody knows. They didn't do no research, they ain't look at no chart. They just jump in route really quickly and they just like winging a prayer. You know what I mean? So some of it is gambling, but majority is not because they're actually legit companies and they have legit dev teams and they have legit people behind them and or they have buildings and structures and they have regulations behind it or some type of structure behind it where you can get your money back out. Some of it's not. Some of it might be honeypots and stuff like that. We understand that, but majority of them aren't, right? That are remaining right now. If your crypto is right now or your stock is live right now, it's most likely a legit company, right? And you can pull your money out and you can put money in, you can pull money out whenever you like, or at least Monday through Friday in the stock market, and then crypto's 24 hours, 7 days a week. Okay. So there's a big difference there, right? Than just saying, okay, I'm putting 10,000 here. If I lose it all. you know, there's no, oh, I want some of that back. you know, there's no, oh man, second quarter, Terrence Crawford is beating the crap out of Spence. Let me take a 20% loss right now and get 8,000 back out of my 10,000. That it doesn't happen that way, right? So you're gonna lose it all, right? You lose all 10,000, so it sucks. um, yeah. So, anyways, we have to wrap up the video. The whole point of this video was about that God's going to be showing you guys and me, our families. He's already doing it now. He's going to show us your friends, your families. He's going to show everybody that are in your that you're around, your coworkers, your roommates, your neighbors. He's going to be showing everything, right? And he's going to be showing you who's good and who's bad, and because of the wealth that's coming, right? And so when the wealth comes to you, you're gonna know who to help out and who not to help out, right? And who to keep quiet to and avoid and stay away. Okay, so that's basically what's the video, and then I threw some other things in there, but that's the video. You know what I mean? We're getting ready for the wealth, and as we prepare for the wealth, God will be showing you stuff in your dreams, and yeah, so just prepare and get ready for the wealth. Get ready for the things that are about to happen to the world. Wars and all these things are starting now, and are going to be all over the news. Uh, Media is going to pump it up as World War III is here. I wouldn't be surprised if it starts in 2 weeks, right? And all September and October. World War III is here, igniting World War III, and oh my God, what just happened in Israel, right? And what just happened? What's going on? Oh my God, right? And so we know who's behind it if you follow me on Patreon, right? So we're going to be talking about these things, and when we get the go ahead, when we get the imminent go ahead, then when things are imminent, we'll be doing 2 videos a day on the Intel videos for Patreon. So get ready for that. That's going to be exciting, because if we're imminent, if God says we're imminent, then you'll be seeing two Intel videos a day on Patreon from me. So exciting times ahead, but some very scary times ahead as well. Because they're going to be trying, like I said before, they're going to try to destroy this entire this entire system, this entire earth. Like they're gonna try to destroy everything, and then introduce to you the new cabal digital system that they can track everything that you do. Right. So that's their plan. This is why they're doing the fires. They're doing all that. They're gonna try to destroy everything, and then introduce you to your slave system of the digital reality, right? Which they're gonna enslave you. So God's people can't be enslaved, right? How can we do the work of God if we're enslaved, right? So this is why the wealth transfer is so important, because only the people that are wealthy are going to be able to exit the enslavement, right? So we're going to need the wealth, because if we're not wealthy, then we're going to be forced to be enslaved, and many people in the body of Christ are going to be taking the mark of the beast and the Michael and bowing down to the antichrist system, and they're going to have no choice, or at least or die, you know what I mean? So I mean, come on, I mean, are we going to bow down to if look if things were different, because they're not going to be different, we are sealed to be wealthy. But let's just say let's just play the other side real quick. If things if things don't it didn't pan out, which they will, and we pray and we are sealed to be wealthy. But if we did have that other side, and the antichrist system was here, and the digital dollar and all these tracking stuff, and we were enslaved and stuff, you know, it's like, what do you do then? If you don't have money, if you're struggling now because you didn't pay attention, you didn't care about the wealth transfer, or you didn't invest in anything that God told you to invest in. You were basically disobedient, right? Because God has told a lot of you guys what to invest in, and some of you guys haven't invested in none of the stuff that God said. So if you don't become wealthy in this time period, and you become a person that has to go into the beast system, then that's because you're disobedient, right? And so you can still repent for it. You can still repent. You're just not going to get no money, or maybe God will send you somebody to bless you, right, to get you out of that system because you repented, but you're in disobedience, and that's a sin, right? So then here comes the antichrist system on you, right? Take this, take that chip, take this, and all that stuff, and be our slaves, right? Or off with your head. Then you got to make a decision. You're already in disobedience, so if you don't, you know, you can turn the B system down, but if you don't repent, it doesn't matter, right? So you're gonna have to make some very serious choices, right? Um, And so think about that. There's a lot of very, very serious choices that are about to be coming down the pike here, right? Especially if you're not wealthy, right? Because it's different if you're wealthy, because then you get to escape all this stuff. You get to fly private. You get to you get to escape all this stuff, right? You get to have your own land and your own family in a rural area, and you get to have your security, and you get to do all things that you want to do still, right? You just have to do it a different way, but you can do what you want to do, basically, right? But if you're not in that situation, or no, somebody doesn't put you in that situation, right? Then you're part of this beast. You become part of the beast system, and then now you have to try to survive this beast system, right? And uh, and that's going to be almost impossible. Or, you know what I mean? Because what you're gonna unless you're gonna have somebody to buy your stuff for you and turn the computers on for you, because everything's gonna need a microchip, even your computers. To turn your computers on, you're gonna need it. To get on the internet, you're gonna need a microchip. It won't be a password. You'll be putting your freaking hand on there, right? And using it to buy food. You're gonna need a microchip, right? They already have these things in Whole Foods, right, where you got to scan your hand and stuff. I mean, it's sickening, right? They're turning us into AI. They're turning us into robots, right? And right in front of your face. So we got it. So that's why this is why the wealth transfer is so important. This is why obedience to God in this season is very important, right? So Make sure you're in the tokens in the place that God has told you, and just wait it out, because at the perfect time he will set you free, right? And people are complaining, yo, these coins are down 99%, and this God stuff is down big. Yeah, because he's allowing his people to get in at cheap prices. Don't you see that? Don't you see that if you don't have much money, you get to buy a lot of these tokens for $100 for a lot of tokens. Don't you see that? Right? If these tokens were up 10,000%, how can God's people get in them? These tokens are down 99%. And so that God's people that are making only $30,000 a year can invest. $100 can go a long way into Sheena and SHIB right now. Right? You can get millions of coins now. Right? So when God sends a SHIB to $3 within the next 5 years, you turn $100, that $100 goes a long way now, right? Same thing with Sheena, right? And same thing with Bad Idea, and same thing with all these other tokens, right? They're really cheap right now, so that his people can get in them. The only problem is his people think that because they're down 99%, they want to avoid them. You know what I mean? And it's like, and they only want to get in them when they're up 1,000%. Oh, they're up 1,000%. Hey, currency, how do I buy this? I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you didn't like you had a chance to buy it like for 2 years. They were down 89% for 2 years. You didn't even want them. Now they're up 1,000%. Now you want to put money into it? That's backwards, folks. If they're down 99% and it's a prophetic token that God told you to get into, well, it's the perfect time to start putting money into it. They're cheap now, right? And so our minds have been mind controlled to work backwards. When something is down big, instead of buying it while it's down, you avoid it and then say, I'll wait for it to go up 1,000% and then I'll chase it. And then it falls down 500% and it retraces back 50%, which is 500% back down. You're like, oh my God, why is it down so much? I lost a lot of money. My $100 is now $10. Or my $100 is now $50. What happened? He was up 1,000%, man. What do you expect? So you didn't want it when it was down 99%, but you wanted it when it was up 1,000%. What type of investment is that? You know what I mean? So, but that's what people do. So people aren't buying these tokens right now because it's down 99%. But the moment Shiba Inu explodes to all-time highs, that's when everybody's going to want to buy it. And that's the wrong time to buy Shiba Inu. Right now, when it's down 99%, is the right time, right? But people's minds don't work that way, because they've been trained to be a 99%er and not a 1%er. So think about that. All right, you gotta change your mind. You gotta change. If you want to stay in wealth, you better change your mind. I've been talking about that a lot because we're about to receive our wealth transfer here, and things are about to skyrocket and things. I know we might still have some more downturn to go. That's fine, but eventually here soon we're going to see things skyrocket, and we're going to see some reset of currencies, and then it's too late for you if you don't have your mindset change. There's nothing we can do for you. Yeah, you'll receive your money and you'll think that you're all that, but your mindset hasn't changed. You still have a poverty mindset. You don't know who your enemies are because you didn't care. And then so now you're going into a world where you're going to be reacting instead of actually knowing what to do. You're going to be reacting to things. And when you're in a world where you react, you're in big trouble. Because that means people are going to punch you in the face and then you have to react. Another person punches you in the face. Another person steals this and steals that. This person doing that. This person does that to you. And you're only reacting. You're not seeing it before it happens. Right? So we got to be very careful, folks. Got to be very careful, especially when you're about to receive wealth. You got to understand, and you must change your mind, and you must be prepared for what's coming, right? Because we've seen too many terrible horror stories of people becoming wealthy, and it's a nightmare, right, for some people. Peace out, and also you can make you go mental insane as well. So We gotta pray. We gotta make sure that we're ready to go. Peace out. God bless. Hope you guys are doing well. And yeah, get ready for wealth. Get ready for a lot of things that are coming, and good and bad. And we gotta weather the storms together, and we gotta fight together, and know that God, when things seem at their worst, not when things seem at their best, folks. It's when things seem at their worst, God will set His people free. Right. So when things are bad, stop saying, why I gotta change this. No, because it's already been prophetically written that when things seem at their worst, God will set His people free. Not when things seem okay, not when the sun's shining, not when you're in Disney World, but when things seem at their worst, God will set His people free. So that's what's coming. So get ready. Wars, media talking about World War III and all these things, markets crashing, all these things, and then God will set His people free. Oh, it's over. We lost everything. Boom, God will set you free. Oh, look, I'm a millionaire now. Oh, great. La da 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 da. Interesting how that works, right? God, I lost it all. Then boom, the next day you're a millionaire. Next day you're worth $3 billion. Oh, look, revaluations and stuff. Oh, good. Hey, God. How you guys? Hey, wow, cool. I gave up there for a second. When things seem at their worst, God's gonna set us free. Peace out. God bless. See you guys in the next video. I'm gonna post this on Currency and Eyes Open Media. God bless everybody, and I pray that you guys are doing well. I pray that everybody lives a great, healthy, long life. I pray that God shows you your enemies, God shows you your friends, and God shows you the people who love you. I pray that God honors everything that He has promised to you and me, and I pray that God brings all of the wealth that He has promised to us in a timely manner. When things seem at their worst, He will set us free, and that we all prepare for that moment as well, and then we thrive in that moment after it happens in Yeshua's name. Peace out. God bless. I'll see you guys in the next videos. Bye. Eyes open.